Welcome, everybody, to the 10 Count Podcast, brought to you by Bodyslam.net. I am Ty P. On the screen across from me is J Star. And if you're looking at what I'm wearing on the socials, I am being very, very petty right now. I am a New York Jets fan, as those in the past have seen on my wall. And I am wearing a Seahawks jersey. My boy Cam Chancellor back on the Legion of Boom. And they put a butt whooping on the New England Patriots. Drake May was the one seeing ghosts out on the field this past Sunday, and I had so much joy watching the Patriots get dismantled this past Sunday. So that's my heel turn rant on the New England Patriots. I get so much joy out of them losing. So Lamper King off the start. Why are people whining, complaining, saying WWE didn't want to sign Private Party? I don't know. I didn't hear any news. So what? They're free agents at this point, I'm assuming? I didn't hear anything about the Private Party.
No, they're still with AEW. And I think it was out there saying that they're obviously still signed under AEW contracts. And if you're going to see them again, it will be with AEW. I'm not sure why people whining and complaining saying W. I really don't know anything about that too much. I was working all day, so I didn't get to catch up on the socials and what was going on. But I don't know why people would be complaining, because WWE might have some people from New Japan coming on over, and we can discuss that a little bit later.
Yeah, and right now the state of the tag team division is very poor anyway, so keep them off WTV anyway. They wouldn't be used. Lamper King again, Fightful reported WWE did not want to sign. Interesting. I mean,
if Sean Ross Sapp is saying Sean is the best in the game, and Sean's the best. I take his word with everything. So if he's saying it, it's got to be true. I don't know why WWE wouldn't want them, but hey, I mean, they're still under AEW contract, so wouldn't that be contract tampering anyway?
It's true. But also, like I said, I mean, the tag team divisions right now on Raw and SmackDown aren't great. They're not very existent. I kind of ranted last week seeing main event had 2 tag team matches, and I think that's like the extent besides what we're seeing with the MFTs, and then the Wyatt Six, and then also the Usos doing their title defense. So it's kind of lackluster. It's just a shame from a year ago, from what we had to what we're going. And again, one last question: will we see Britt Baker or Anna Jay in WWE this year? And is WWE going to sign more indie women like Rain?
I mean,
yeah,
Britt Baker's in Guantanamo Bay. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Tony Khan was just out there a week ago, I believe, saying that he can't wait for Britt Baker to come back to AEW. Until it happens, I'm not going to believe it. She's locked away. She's doing hard time in Guantanamo. It's a shame that she isn't on TV. She's being wasted away doing, I think, DraftKings ads right now on her socials. Anna Jay, I think she will end up in WWE. I've seen the reports, obviously, that they are very interested in her. We'll see where that goes. But my guess, I would say Anna Jay in WWE, Britt still in Guantanamo Bay until further notice. And are they going to sign any more indie women like Rain? I think that's the plan. I mean, they have these tryouts for a reason. They have the WWE ID project for a reason. So I would expect them to sign more indie women and then put them through Evolve and through NXT. And then obviously, I mean, look at Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is the next big thing. And she started off in Evolve and now NXT. And you'll see her in WrestleMania probably within the next year or two.
Yeah, and just to bounce off of that as well, I think Tony's afraid to let up his roster because he sees what's going on. Look at Royce Keys coming out to a huge ovation. They shot a whole backstage package on the man and posted on YouTube, and it got, I forgot how many views, but it was watched a crap ton. And so we look at these superstars that have championships, like Jade Cargill, the women's WWE champion. We have Ethan Page, who was going on 260 days plus as your NXT North American champion, the longest reigning champion in WWE right now. My boy is killing it. It's good to see. I hope he goes 365 and plus on that because he deserves it. But, you know, these AEW formers are getting highlighted on WTV, and I think he knows if Britt Baker makes that move, she has the potential to be gigantic, whether it's on the main roster, on NXT. So I think he's afraid. I mean, he's willing to pay people to not be on TV. And that is, to me, insane. But he's got to realize that WWE is already, the train has left the station 30, 40 years ago, right? They're not going to play catch up. And if you let Britt Baker go, will she be great there? Possibly. But why hold on to her? Just let her go. They're already ahead of you. Just don't play catch up. Play your own game. You know, whoever you let go, so be it. Why pay people to sit on the sideline? I think it's crazy.
I mean, to be fair, it's the same with WWE. I mean, we're talking, you know, Ciampa leaves WWE. He's instantly given a title. He's being shown as a star. And then, hey, let's be real. What do we think about Blake Monroe's run in WWE so far? I personally don't think it's been great. And now she's still in NXT. She lost her title and she hasn't gotten the main call up yet to Raw or SmackDown. So, I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, WWE is paying people to stay home right now too. That's just what happens when you have these huge ass rosters. That's what happens. You know, but then, you know, obviously Britt Baker is a different story. She deserves to be, you know, shown and spotlighted, and she just hasn't been for, I think it's almost over a year. I don't even know.
It's more than that, I think it's over. But the thing is, like, at least WWE brings people back. Like, they were paying Alexa Bliss, you know, to stay home and, like, you know, be a mom. But then look, they put her back on a pedestal as they bring her back. They don't just like hide her away. WWE does bring people back when it makes sense. But even like Blake Monroe, they did have a plan for her. Unfortunately, it got derailed. Whoever's fault it was, it doesn't matter. It happens. It's live TV. Things happen. You got to adjust. And I'm excited because, we had Jada Parker versus Blake Monroe on NXT. Blake Monroe's package in itself, her theme music, her entrance, the way she carries herself to the ring, the way she performs. I mean, she's a bona fide star. And she's going to bounce back. I know it might not be, great right now, but she will definitely fit in the fold. I can see her being, if not just the main roster, NXT Women's Champion within this year because she has that full package. And I think the stop with Jada Parker is going to be great for both of them. It's exciting. Lamper King, I'm going to kind of rewind a little bit. I see you said, I think Blake was doing great until the title malfunction. I completely agree. Both companies are doing it too, but not to the same extent. I agree completely. I think WWE does bring these characters back and they put them on the road, right? They do house shows. I don't think AEW does house shows. They bring these talent in on main event or their house shows and let them perform. So they're not fully, stuck. Would love to see Chantal Monroe join Blake. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I think Blake has a lot to offer, and I don't think, it's going to be all bad. I think we're going to see a lot from her after this package with Jada Parker because I don't think it's done yet. But we do have to get into predictions for No Surrender. We are in a prediction league, so we do have to dive into that a little bit. I did mention Ethan Page. I don't know if you want to say anything, Justin, but I'm just so happy for our guy to be the winningest champion right now in WWE. Like I said before, an AEW guy planted in, doing his thing, which I am also pissed off that they lost the mixed AAA tag team championships with Chelsea and her broken ankle. I guess I'm bringing up Chelsea's broken ankle as well. It's a bummer. It makes sense because, Chelsea's hurt, so they kind of got to move on with that championship. It sucks that we have seen a little bit of a fall from the top a little bit for Chelsea, but I know she'll bounce back up as long as Michael Hayes doesn't hold her down.
Yeah. So on Ethan Page, nothing else to say other than what you said. Guy deserves it. He's a workhorse. He's been unbelievable since he debuted in WWE with NXT. Even last night, like him talking to Robert Stone and Shiloh Hill just wielding this like machete, and just the facial reactions, the comedic genius that Ethan Page also has when given the opportunity to show it is just incredible. As for Chelsea, it's very unfortunate that she broke her ankle on SmackDown. We wish her the best, but also they were eventually going to have to drop those mixed AAA mixed tag titles. It actually kind of helps them as a duo now where they didn't lose them together. So now if they ever wanted to put them back together, they might be 2-time, so who knows? Like Chelsea will heal up. She'll obviously stay over as ever with her social media. She's doing the press now, the newspapers. You're the man. Keep it up, and then Chelsea get better.
Yeah. All right. Let's dig into TNA No Surrender real quick. Justin and I are in a prediction league, and we're using our episodes because we do predictions. If you've watched us before, we love to do the predictions for shows, but we're going to use our shows to kind of hash it out, figure out what we're going to use as a prediction, and hopefully go at least this night 4 for 4. So first up, we're going with Stax Lorenzo defending the International Championship against Trey Miguel. He's using his Feast or Fired briefcase to get his shot at the International Championship. And the thing that kind of sketches me out on my decisions for this paper PLE is that both Ariana Grace and Stax Lorenzo are going for championships, defending and going for championships on this PLE. We've seen a bit of rockiness from them, and I feel like one of them is going to screw over the other in this night, or maybe both, because she wanted to start doing things the right way. Stax, he's a cheater. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to hold on to that international championship. But yeah, I don't think, and maybe you'll agree with me, maybe not, Justin, but Trey Miguel, we've seen him go up and down with this roller coaster until he re-signed with TNA. He got the Feast or Fire briefcase. Luckily, he wasn't fired twice in the same week, and he now has the shot at the international championship. I can't see him winning it right now. I know they're backing him. I know there's some backing behind Trey Miguel, especially because of what happened with AEW and Warner Brothers, kind of saying we don't want him on TV. Which, if you saw us on Hitting the Turnbuckle, I kind of went on a WB rant because I'm a nerd and I have some other knowledge besides wrestling. But anyway, I think Stacks retains here. I can't see Trey Miguel being successful off the get go, but maybe he does. Maybe they want to give some love and some lifting up to Trey Miguel. But I think what Stacks is doing right now is fun. He's a great crossover champion, so I think I'm going to go with Stacks Lorenzo retains in this match.
So I was thinking I'm going to go with you. So we're in agreement here. We're going to lock in Stacks retaining the title. I think just because we might have some outside interference. I think obviously after seeing NXT, we see him, Lexis King, we see Ariana Grace, we now see Uriah. Now they're trying to form this generational stable, and I believe we might see them play a part in this. Obviously, they might play into the fact that Trey doesn't have any friends now. His friends are all gone. His friends are in AEW. So as much as I would like to see Trey win, I'm going to say as well, Stacks defends, although Ariana doesn't want him to cheat, right? That's like you said, that's what he does. So I don't know if she's going to be distracted in the backstage area, getting ready for her match. Something's going to go on where she doesn't see it or whatnot. And I think Stacks is going to retain. So we are going to lock in Stacks.
Randy, howdy, my man. Thanks for stopping in. We love you, our dude. Let's go with that match then. We have Li Yingling, Ariana Grace for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And Justin, I'll let you take it first.
So now we're back to where we just pretty much, it's like, now is that stable going to take another TNA title to NXT? I don't think so. I don't know how this is going to happen, but just looking at the matchup, Li Yingling deserves to retain. I think she's been a great TNA Knockouts champion. So with all that said, maybe Stacks tries to help, cheat for Ariana and she gets mad about that, or she gets caught, or he gets caught and it's a disqualification, something along those lines where they start bickering again, they start fighting again. Li Yingling retains the title.
Yeah, I completely agree. My whole mindset is that Stacks is going to come to help. Ariana's not going to want the help. It's going to cost her. So Li Yingling retains. So right there with you. We can lock that boy in. And we're 2 for 2 right now, dude. This is easy. And Matt with the let's go. I got to backtrack like 15 minutes after it ends. Hey, we did some discussing of the women's division a bit, and just know that Ethan Page is a legend. He is the longest reigning champion in WWE right now, and we're going to 365 plus. We hit 260. We're going past the road to WrestleMania. Stand and deliver. It's going to be a walk in the park for our man, and he's going to lead this year as the still winningest champion in WWE. Let's get into our boys, the Righteous, teaming with the TNA Tag Team Champions, Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, against Order 4. I am very excited about this match. I am confused about my decision because I don't know what the Righteous are planning, which is awesome. They always have me second guessing. I don't understand their motive yet. I hope that they turn the Hardys, because ultimately that's what I would love to see. I'd love to see the Hardys go heel and become one of the many. That would be freaking epic. And maybe they have them hand the tag titles over to the Righteous because they are the leaders. I mean, come on, that would be freaking beautiful writing on the wall. But yeah, so I mean, Order 4 has been awesome. They've been a force to be reckoned with. Mustafa is freaking amazing. His whole run in TNA has been awesome. And also, don't count out Tasha Steeles. She is the definition of ride or die. We've watched her week in and week out sacrifice her body, interfere and attack, opponents to Order 4. I mean, she is in a quote, the fifth man of this 4 versus 4 match right here. So she is definitely a difference maker, but I feel like this is a stepping stone for the Hardys and the Righteous story. So I feel like I got to go with the Righteous and the Hardys coming out on top on this one.
So I've been going back and forth on this one, dude. Just because of how we know we want it to play out. Obviously, the Righteous and the Hardys are not done. But then you have Vincent and Dutch saying that like this is like just the beginning. This is what they've wanted. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like something might happen in the match between the two teams where someone snaps. I don't know. And I feel like the Order 4 really needs it. I feel like the Order 4 really needs a victory. Obviously, Elijah's been a pain in their ass, literally, with just defeating the Order 4 left and right. I don't know. I can't go against the Righteous. I can't go against Vincent and Dutch, but this might be what they want the whole time. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
True.
Man, dude, I'm really stumped on this one. Let's go with the Hardys and the Righteous. If we're wrong, right, we're wrong, but at least we are among the many. So
we are among the many.
Yeah. So let's go with the Hardys and the Righteous.
All right. And last but not least, hopefully there's another match. We have Mike Santana, the TNA World Champion, and Leon Slater, the X Division Champion, going head to head with Nick Nemeth and Eddie Edwards, two of Santana's future opponents, because Nick Nemeth has the Call Your Shot. Eddie Edwards has the Feast or Fire briefcase for the TNA World Championship. So there's a lot of complications for our boy Mike Santana in this matchup. Justin, what's your thoughts on this?
So I think Mike Santana and Leon end up winning this match, but then afterwards, I don't know what's going to happen, dude. Like you might have Eddie and Nick attack each other. You might have the system come out, like all of a sudden Bear just might come out and just start beating the shit out of everyone. And then you have Eddie trying to cash in his briefcase. And then you have Nick trying to call his shot. It's going to be mayhem at the end. If it's not mayhem, then I think TNA has failed.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally set up perfectly for complete mayhem at the end of this main event. And it's just the pre-main event to the main event, because I think there will be another match afterwards. And I don't know if it's going to go well for Mike Santana.
See, I have a different idea.
Okay.
I think there is going to be a match after the match, but I think it's going to be for Leon Slater. I think you're right. I think there's going to be mayhem, right? I think we're going to have Eddie Edwards and Nick Nemeth trying to both, I'll say, call their shot, cash in their briefcase, whatever you want to say. But I think that mayhem is going to cause an Eric Young to attack an unsuspecting Leon Slater and cash in his shot at the X Division Championship. Now, I could be wrong, but because of how they're setting this matchup, it just makes sense. Like, oh, we're banking on one of these men to cash in on Mike Santana. But we have a Leon Slater. We have a champion who has a person with a briefcase targeting him. And I think Eric Young is perfect enough to be very sly, slide his way into that match after that match, I'll say, and cash in his shot and fight Leon Slater for the X Division Championship.
Hey, I like it. Like I said, I want mayhem at the end. Too. When the bell rings and Mike Santana and Leon Slater defeat Nick Nemeth and Eddie Edwards, there's gotta be shit that goes down afterwards. There has to be. All
right, so I guess I'll be in agreement with you. I think both Mike Santana and Leon will win. So we can lock that in. Leon
All right,
Slater
that
and
was
Mike
easy.
Santana.
That was pretty easy.
Taking that main event, maybe main event, semi-main event, possibly not main event, and winning that tag match. But yeah, I think
What
No Surrender is going to be a lot of fun.
what if like you said, like you have Eric Young come out, but what if you have two more matches like going at the same time? So like someone does actually either Nick or Eddie use their thing on Santana, and then Eric Young runs down with another ref, and then he uses his call your shot, and you have two matches going on at the same time.
That would be
That would be
never done before, kind of unprecedented.
Sick.
I don't know where I'd want to
insane.
look. That would be the problem. I don't know what I'd want to focus on more. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The sky's the limit with how they're setting this up. And as long as TNA pulls some kind of a trigger towards this, they'll be great. And I agree with you. If they don't, that's a fail. Like
Yeah.
they have this set up for a reason. You have to deliver in some capacity. And there's many avenues they can go. And I mean, I want to see Bear Bronson in at least in some capacity in that main event. I want to see our guy do his thing. I mean, I love right now that Bear Bronson and the Righteous are in forefront of TNA stories right now. And it's funny looking back over the summer when we interviewed them, even before we interviewed them, they weren't TNA people yet. They were Bear Bronson was in the middle of his summer of violence. The Righteous were, just getting ready to come back into the independents. And look at them now. Like, this is cool as crap for them. I'm very happy. They're taking that ball and they're running with it. And just seeing a Bear Bronson and dude, the picture of the four of the new system members just holding Moose and JDC and Bear's face in it. It's just I see that picture everywhere and it makes me fucking smile from ear to ear every time I see it. I can't wait to see what Bear Bronson has to offer 2026 in TNA because it's going to be epic.
Absolutely. Main event worthy.
Yeah, completely agree. Now, we got I wanted to ask you a question about SmackDown this Friday because they confirmed that the next Elimination Chamber qualifier is Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, Sami Zayn. Now, this is what I was hoping for because now two of the guys that want to beat the living crap out of Drew McIntyre and are doing it, right? Last week, we saw it happen twice to Drew. Drew's kind of getting, beat down and being the end, the target on his back is officially coming to fruition. Now either Cody or Jacob will be moving on if one of them, right? Because Sami is in that match. So how do you think that's going to play out? Because now I'm very intrigued. Like, this is what I was hoping for, that that Jacob and Cody would be in the same qualifying match. So one of them will not be moving on to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be able to work around it no matter what. So one of them, I would love to see the swerve of Sami winning somehow. Then it gets real interesting. But I think we're still on the route for I think it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania. So you're going to either have Cody or Jacob go on to the Elimination Chamber. I believe whoever that comes out on Friday is going to end up winning the chamber. And then you're just going to still have to have this mayhem going on between all three of them. Maybe the surveillance camera footage finally comes out that it was Drew McIntyre that did attack Jacob Fatu. Jacob goes to Nick Aldis, or Nick Aldis shows it to Jacob. He goes, you know what? All three of you hate each other. You deserve a shot at Drew for taking you out and making you have dental work. So now it's just going to be a triple threat. And I think it'll be an easy way to figure it out. But you're right. It's definitely, the road will be a little trickier for one of them. But then obviously we will get to the end game, which is that triple threat at WrestleMania. And then we have Stussy 6 on YouTube. I think Jacob wins the chamber. It'll be easier to justify Cody getting into the Mania match without technically qualifying for it. Yeah, I mean, either or. they know what they're doing. They'll figure it out somehow, some way. Either Cody or Jacob will sneak into that main event. Night one main event of WrestleMania, and I truthfully think it's going to be a triple threat.
What if, and I know this would look bad for Drew, and I want you to have more time with the championship, but what if you're right? Somehow Sammy wins this match, and then they go triple threat: Drew, Cody, Jacob, Elimination Chamber. What if Cody wins and Randy wins the Chamber, and we either get a heel Randy or a heel Cody versus opposite face at WrestleMania? Because I think that would be awesome. I think people are clamoring for that. I know they don't want Cody to be the champion. And Stussy6 on YouTube, is it possible we even get Cody versus? Yeah, exactly. Like I just said, I think that's a huge possibility, and I feel like Drew should win that. But if they want to put on a program for Randy and Cody, I think this would be the time too. If they go that route and they want Cody to be champion heading into WrestleMania, and I know the fans would be pissed. So why not just make Cody heel with a face Randy and let them do their thing? Personally, I'd rather heel Randy and a face Cody. But with how the crowd kind of like, when Cody came out and Saudi was like, I'm going to win a third Rumble. And they're like, no, like they respect him, right? They cheered him, the other times he came out, but, the fans, especially in Saudi and I think globally, want something different, want something new, rightfully so. I didn't want to see Cody to win a third Rumble. I think that would be played out. He's not on in my opinion, the Stone Cold level where you can pull off 3 Rumbles and people will still love you. But yeah, I think there is that possibility we see that Elimination Chamber, and I think it's a fair assessment that someone might walk out and new at that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's definitely possible to happen at Chamber. It can't, in my mind, it cannot be Cody and Drew 1-1 again. We've seen it. It's just like the same thing with Cody Roman. We don't need a third installment at WrestleMania. 3 out of 4 years, you don't need it. That's a little too much. Like, come on. Like, the main event of WrestleMania this year is CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That's it. This next match, whatever SmackDown's going to give us, is secondary in my mind. The Raw main event is the main event, night 2 WrestleMania, no matter what. Now, it's just, I don't want to see, we've already seen Drew and Cody. We've seen it multiple times. So I don't want it again. I don't want that singles match again. If you're doing it, you got to add some flavor to it. Add a Jacob Fatu. Hell, add a Randy Orton, like you just said. Give me Jacob in there. Give me Randy in there somehow. It just needs a little bit more spice. It's too bland if I see Drew and Cody again. It's just like doing the same thing over and over again, and that's what I don't want.
Yeah, I agree. There does need to be some difference and not a singles match for Drew and Cody. I disagree with you in the fact that there should be a Roman Cody match. Maybe not at WrestleMania. Could be a SummerSlam, right? We don't need the every year Brock Roman main event for the title at WrestleMania, but they're 1-1 against each other. I want that rubber match, dude. I want to see who would come out on top. And maybe they don't want to touch that, right? When we got Rock and Cena, they did 2 matches. They each won. They went their separate ways. I wasn't happy, but I guess everyone else was happy. I don't know. Maybe people agree with me. I wanted The Rock to have 2-1 against Cena, but that's my own opinion. And Stussy6 says only if Cody beats Roman again. And I agree. I agree because Cody is the workhorse. He's here. He is the person that wants to put all his effort and time into WWE when he can. And Roman's the guy who's part-time. And like I mentioned last week, if Roman had his great promo last week and doesn't decide to show up the rest of the few weeks, that's going to piss me off. I know people like the spectacle of Roman Reigns, but I don't. And I think also if he does show up every week, I don't think people are going to like him that much anymore. I think they like the spectacle. I think people love to see the random pop-up of Roman Reigns. And if they if they go Cody Roman and they give it to the guy that's not around anymore, I think that's kind of a shitty move. But that's my opinion. I know people would disagree. I know there's a lot of Roman lovers out there. I am obviously not one of them. I think if you've listened to this podcast for the time that we've been doing this, I'm very vocal about my dislike for the character of Roman Reigns. But yeah, I agree. I think Cody should be the one to win that rubber match if they ever do that, go that route.
Yeah, and I wanted to just make it clear that I meant that I didn't want to see Cody Roman at WrestleMania again,
Yeah.
especially right now. I don't need it 3 out of 4 years. That's just overkill. Sure, they definitely need to have that match, and I think even if you go back a year ago, we both said it. We would love to see a face Roman versus a heel Cody.
Would love that.
That is what I want to see for this third installment, whenever it may be. Let's say it's SummerSlam in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I want a heel Cody, face Roman, and hell, let's see heel Cody take it. Let Cody cheat his way to beating the tribal chief Roman Reigns. I would love that. I would eat all that up. So yes, they do need to have it, but once again, put a little spice into it, switch it up. Let it be a heel Cody and a face Roman. Once Cody turns heel, then I want to see the match again. That's when I want to see it.
And Sussy6 on YouTube with the That's Why Punk Should Beat Roman too. I completely agree. I mean, I'm a Punk guy and I'm not a Roman guy, but also, Punk's doing work with the title. We see Finn Balor now in the main event because of Punk. He's trying to work his way to an Elimination Chamber match against Punk. And we still have unfinished business with the Vision, unfinished business with Seth Rollins that I want to see Punk as champion for. And if they give the title to Roman, that just destroys all that. And we're not going to see that championship until SummerSlam. So I think Punk should definitely win. Mm-hmm. Maybe Seth comes out, especially because Braun Breaker's hurt and might not be hitting, WrestleMania with his hernia. But maybe we have Seth trying to screw over Punk, but then ends up screwing over Roman, right? And that would be epic because that flows very well. Seth screwing over either of those men works very well. So personally, if Seth comes back from Mania, doesn't have something to do, have him interfere, have him try and screw over Punk, but screws over Roman, and that can continue a whole story as well. Those storylines are endless between the three of them. And if Moxley ever came back, it would be even more storylines you could push with. But I digress. And Celestia6, wouldn't it be crazy if we end up seeing Punk, Roman, Seth versus the Vision at some point? That would be. And that's crossed my mind too, because, the Vision screwed over Roman. Screwed over Seth. They've taken out Roman and Punk. And that would be an epic to me, like a Backlash or a SummerSlam match, because it seems like that's the way it should happen when, Braun Breaker comes back.
So I think they came out with Roman's Raw schedule up until Mania. I think he is appearing at 5 of the 9 Raws leading up to Mania. Are you surprised with that number, or is that about right for what you would expect because of him being in the main event against CM Punk?
Yeah, it's the road to WrestleMania. He has to be there in some capacity. There's only so much weight Punk can lift going to promote this main event match. So you have to. If you're the main event, if you're the night 2 main event, which it seems like they are, you can't not promote it at that much. You need Roman around. And I'm glad I saw that number. Yes, Sussy, I'm a very big fan of you because I completely agree. How generous of our tribal chief. I completely agree. I wish he was up every week because it's the road to WrestleMania and it needs to be important. And obviously Punk can carry that feud, but have the man around. Like, why is it just 5? I'm glad it's 5. I thought it was going to be 3 because I have no faith in how they were going to bring him in. So I'm glad that it's 5. But I know Punk's going to be there all 9 weeks. He'll be there, whether it's interviews, whether it's wrestling, whether it's promos. He will be there the next 9 weeks leading up to WrestleMania. And I was kind of hoping Roman would be too in some capacity, and even have
Yeah,
them tag team against Division, right? That would make sense. Have the two opponents have to team up. Roman hates Punk, but Division's still there. Braun Breaker's hurt, but Bronson Reed is the tribal thief, and he's still looming around. He's got the last time we saw Roman, he got the one up on him. So it would be cool to see that, forcing them to tag together against Division, and maybe we do, but it would make more sense if he was here weekly.
yeah, and listen, I think Punk is going to win the main event. I think Punk wins. I don't think, as much as Roman is a draw and the fans love him when he shows up, I don't think they could give the title back to a part-time champion. And I just think it would hurt the product in a whole. You're on Netflix and your champion, like you said, is only there once every, unless they have a plan where he's back full time. I know he said like he's back to change the game at, before the Royal Rumble. If he's back full time after Mania, then all, no holds barred. Like, sure, I'm there for it. Let me see it. But if he's part time, man, I don't want any part of a part time tribal chief champion again. So yeah, I think Punk is fine. I think Punk's going to win, and it's going to be CM Punk's crowning moment in his wrestling career. Sussy on YouTube. I hope we see a Finn Roman promo just to tease that Finn could find his way into the Mania main event. So, do we get into Finn? Finn has his match, right, with Punk at Elimination Chamber. He's getting that second match, but we know how this is ending, right? It's going to end up with Finn losing again. Ty and myself have said it. We're tired of seeing Finn Balor lose. He should stop losing, but until he gets out of the Judgment Day, like that's when that singles push is going to happen for Finn Balor. Is like his first opponent has to be Dominic Mysterio. So I see WrestleMania, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor for the IC championship. And then that's where that Judgment Day shit parts finally. Might as well call him Pin Balor, says Stussy. Yeah.
I love it.
And listen.
Let's remember the last time Finn Balor has won a singles match, I think I said it was January 6th of last year, 2025.
But it wasn't even clean. JD McDonough helped him. Yeah, JD McDonough helped him. So it's got to be Finn is unfortunately going to lose at the Chamber. There's no way Punk is dropping that title before Mania. So then you just start working at Dom saying, oh, you can't win one. You can't win one for the Judgment Day. And then Finn and Dom finally start going at it, leads up, build up to Mania, IC title. Hell, make Finn Balor the damn demon if you have to. If that's what you have to do to make him win the IC title from Dom, do it. I don't care. But Finn Balor has to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania from Dominic Mysterio, end his ties with the Judgment Day, and then go on from there. That's where the singles push begins for 2026 for Finn Balor.
Yeah, and I think they can even start that at an Elimination Chamber. I think we can have a Dom Mysterio screw over Finn, maybe on accident, and then we can see those ties unravel, and we can see Dom say what you said, where you can't win, and Finn's like, you screwed me over. If you think you're such a hot shot, put that Intercontinental Championship on the line at WrestleMania. So I think we do see the Judgment Day to finally start to fall apart at Elimination Chamber, because I think that's why Finn's going to lose to Punk. They're going to have kind of Dom or maybe even Liv or someone screw him over when he's trying to almost win that championship from CM Punk.
Could you imagine? Like, what do you think the odds are? We discuss it all the time, but what do you think the odds are that you have Finn, JD returns, you have Dom, you still have Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv together as the Judgment Day past WrestleMania? What are the odds?
I don't know what to say here. Yeah. I want to say like 35%, but I don't know, because they're still playing up. Liv and Roxanne, Liv and Raquel are still very buddy. there are some mishaps, right? Because Raquel, I think, kicked Liv in the face on SmackDown. Kind of like, was it redemption? Was it revenge? But they're still hanging out. They're still being a menace to where they're going on Raw or SmackDown. And so we still see Raquel playing the Big Daddy Cool and to Liv. So I don't know. I don't know. I say 35%, but because I said that, they will probably be in full force post WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's just how it goes with us. How about I wanted to discuss this from Raw, the original Grande Americano and the current El Grande Americano. I love what they're doing, where on AAA TV you have the new Grande, he's the face and the OG is the heel. But then on Raw, you have the OG as the face and you have the new as the heel. I love how they are playing that, dude. That is so freaking cool. It's unbelievable the way that they're doing that. And that is a perfect WrestleMania match as well. Mask versus mask. How about that? And then you just, obviously, if it's a WWE crowd, you're going to have the OG as the babyface. But, you go watch AAA on Fox, or it was on YouTube, and you have OG handcuff the new guy, the Ludwig, or it's just confusing now. Yeah, Imposter Grande. You handcuff him, you go into the match, you win the match. So it's just, I love exactly what they're doing. This is exactly what they needed to do.
I agree. And I think it's funny because El Grande Americano was in that Reyes Day was the Reyes Day Rey match.
Yep.
And he is El Grande Americano. I mean, so is the Imposter, and he won. So I think we're going to see more of that because the Imposter is still El Grande Americano, right? So even though, the OG won, I can see the roles reversing on AAA. And it is funny, like you said. I do like that on AAA, the roles are reversed. The OG is the heel, the Imposter is the face, and on Raw, it's completely different. And it's fun. It's cool. And being a fan of both and being able to watch both, it kind of adds some dimensions to it. And you get to really enjoy, because the OG Americano was the heels of heels, and he was going to go to AAA to fight all the luchadors and show them that he is the king of the luchadors. He gets hurt. El Grande Imposter comes in, because the crowd favorite. He's singing, songs in Spanish and becoming one with the fans. It's fun. It is cool. It is one of the highlights right now in wrestling for me, because we are, crossing boundaries with WWE and AAA. And I'm excited to see where they go on both ends. Right now, I'm excited to see, does El Grande Americano as a whole, whether it's the Imposter OG, get a championship match against Dom or El Vikingo, or does, do they do a mask for mask match at WrestleMania? Because to me, that makes sense. I think everyone has that idea, and maybe we see both their masks come off. I don't know.
Yeah, it's lining up perfectly, and it just makes it's like the perfect like night one, like halfway through match, that just brings the crowd back to life just because of it's just gonna be perfect. And then talking about that match from Raw, Javon Evans and that cutter, holy shit, that was incredible. It was, what a move.
Yeah, I hope that Javon doesn't get lost in the shuffle. I'm glad he's in there with the, Americanos. They're very forefront on Raw, and I don't want him to kind of fall out of that. I would love to see, if Finn is the one that goes for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, where does Javon fit in with relevancy? Because he's obviously not going for the world title. He's not going for the Intercontinental Championship. Where would Javon Evans best fit in the fold? And Stussy6 on YouTube, I think Javon is going to the Chamber. I think that would be awesome. The spots that man could pull in the Chamber would be highlight. So I agree. I hope that is the route they go. But even post Chamber and leading to Mania and even post Mania, what do we do to keep Javon Evans, highlighted? How do we keep him in a main storyline? So I hope they put him in a program with a great heel that kind of keeps him relevant for a little bit of time before he can challenge for an Intercontinental Championship or even a world title. Same thing with Trick Williams. Honestly, man, I would love for Trick Williams to win the EC if he gets to go in there. I would love to see them take the swerve and have Trick fight for the championship at WrestleMania because I've been saying it, and everyone knows Trick Williams is hot. Everyone is singing his theme song, whoop that trick all over the world. It's not even just in the US, it's global. And I know there's time for patience. I know Triple H says it's better to wait for a payoff, but sometimes when the freaking iron's hot, you got to strike it. And in this moment, man, if Trick Williams won the EC, I'm getting chills right now thinking about it, won the EC and went on to WrestleMania and won the WWE Undisputed Championship, I think the world would lose it. It would be a moment in time that would go down in history in WWE. And everyone would be yelling, whoop that trick, that next Friday night SmackDown. And I don't think that's the route they're going to go. But if they want to call an audible and put their faith in Trick, they did it with TNA, they did it on NXT. The dude will continue it on SmackDown as the WWE Undisputed Champion.
I mean, that would be a move that you could only applaud, right? Because that would be them going out of their comfort zone of said Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, all these main eventers, and doing that to put the rocket on Trick. That would be something. But if we're still on Raw, we have to talk about the Masked Man. Obviously, LA Knight is now going to the Elimination Chamber. After a little assist from that Masked Man, he curb stomped Austin Theory and then got chased out by Logan Paul. So it's not Logan Paul, but I think the person knows Austin Theory very, very well.
I was thinking the same thing, dude. You
I think
Grayson
it's
Waller,
Grayson
man.
Waller.
Yep.
Yes. Which is weird because the whole time you had A-Town Down Under, everyone wanted Theory to be the one to turn on Grayson and have Theory become the babyface because Waller's just such a great heel. But once this gets revealed, is Grayson Waller now a babyface? Or is he just doing this because it's Stussy on YouTube says it's Stevie Richards? I mean, the super kick looked like a Stevie Richards super kick also. But like, is Grayson Waller going to be revealed as a face? Is he going to be aligning with Seth Rollins like when Rollins returns? I don't know. And the Vision's just cursed at this point, man. I don't know. I know they had so many plans for the Vision, but it's just one thing after another. Like first it starts with Seth and now it's Braun Breaker, who is the next leader of the Vision. So they can't make a leader. They just have to be their group. And we'll see. I'm curious to see when they're going to do the reveal of the Masked Man.
Yeah, but if they do go the Grayson route, which I think it seems like it is, especially now looking at the facial hair, I feel like that is Grayson's facial hair. But does he then just ditch the New Day? I feel like he fits so well with the New Day. You would just pull him out, and then it's just like cold turkey, or like, is there a story with that? So that's the only thing kind of holding me back from thinking it is Grayson. But I guess there's a way they can do it right where he's still part of the New Day, but also aligning with Seth. Maybe he's like a paid actor for Seth's hitman or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they have to piece together. I mean, dude. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Grayson Waller that's going to be it. Stussy, no way. It's especially after what Jake Paul said on X. Talking about Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl and whatnot. Yep. And then Logan actually stepping in and saying, I disagree with my brother. It's not Jake Paul. If it is, oh boy, that guy is going to walk into a locker room that is pissed. I don't think Logan wants any part of that. It's not going to be Jake Paul. I'd be shocked. I'd be stunned. I'd be floored if it was. ultimately, I believe it's Grayson Waller. They will have to piece together, like you said, the New Day, because he is a heel with the New Day. And everyone wanted him, for Austin Theory to return. And then when he did, he came back a face. And then everyone thought he was going to be, the mole for Seth Rollins, but now he's clearly not. So it's like you have a lot to piece together between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I'm sure they have a plan, right? WWE, the writers, the creative team, they always have a plan, right? So why would we be worried?
Yeah, I think I am worried, but we'll see. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be, but I just think that because of the mess, like you said, with the vision and the injuries. And come on, Braun Breaker, don't be just willy nilly using all your strength and your hip strength to toss the table. He's pulled to me. It's like when Randy Orton would do the punches to the mat when he was doing the RKO, and he did it too hard and popped his shoulder. It's like there's some instances where I know you want to like look like an animal, but you got to like look out for your well being sometimes. Especially those announce tables, they're pretty hefty nowadays, especially with all the components to them. But I think he'll learn from that, especially for someone who goes 1,000% every time he's in the ring. Leave it for the humans, not the inanimate objects. But I think because of all the injuries, they're trying to like salvage what they can. And I think that's why we might kind of see some weirdness if it is Grayson Waller because of his association to the New Day, because of his former association with Austin Theory. So hopefully they do kind of swerve it the proper way, but I don't know if I have the faith in that because of just the circumstances of what's happening with the vision.
And then can we just talk about Becky? That opening segment, man. Oof. It was just really bad acting. I actually had one of my buddies randomly text me and say, dude, Becky Lynch is just overdoing it to the extreme. And I know like that's what her character is supposed to be, is supposed to be this over the top obnoxious, but it was just it was a little too much on Monday night. So I just wanted to get that out there. And they're going to have their match at Elimination Chamber.
Crazy.
The plans are still for them to have another match at Mania. So AJ Lee, Becky Lynch is they're going to do at Elimination Chamber to end up getting them to that second match at WrestleMania. So I am assuming maybe Becky retained by cheating or something to get to that second match.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see AJ walk out. She'll walk out of Mania as the Intercontinental Champion, but I do believe we're gonna see Becky Lynch retain at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Stussy says a stipulation match for Mania. Yeah, no, that's got to be the way that they go. Becky, I was cringing watching Becky Lynch on Monday night, and Stussy again. AJ wins the title. Becky wins it back at Mania. I think it's going to be reversed. I think Becky retains, and then AJ wins the title at Mania. Then Lamper King, Bianca really returning. I mean, so
I hope so.
So yeah, according to Corey and the Bodyslam guys, they were told that she is on an internal list of they don't have a date for when she's going to return, but they do think that they're going to use her in some capacity at WrestleMania. But man, oh man, can only wish her the best with her current recovery because it's been a while. And clearly, I mean, things aren't going as planned. Lamper says, "Who faces Jade? What do you think?"
I think it's gonna be Tiffany. I honestly think that's the route they're gonna go. Which is kind of a bummer, but I mean, as long as they put on a good match or like have a stipulation in it, I think it might work. But it's just crazy that a finger injury is just like taking this freaking long. And that's why I kind of thought she was going to be in the Rumble. That's why we picked her to win the Rumble in our prediction league, is because how long can like a finger injury kind of hold someone back from the ring? But apparently it's pretty freaking serious. So I'm hoping she, recovers soon. Um, I think we're at a year at this point, or almost at a year at this point
Yeah.
for that injury. So maybe we see we get a clearance close to the EC or something, and she can find her way in or take a spot. But I doubt that's going to happen. I think we do see Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. I do want to talk about, as I'm wearing my Seahawks jersey, because I'm petty against the Patriots. How about Tom Brady being a dick? And I'm going to say, because I can't stand him either.
Yeah.
To Logan Paul saying that, yeah, look, they're going to Saudi to play flag football because the man can't and just enjoy his millions of dollars he's made and from the Super Bowls he's won and the contracts he's had. He's got to go to Saudi and play flag football. I'm telling Logan, yeah, you're a good athlete, but you might not be great in the flag football realm. And Logan, I'm becoming more of a Logan Paul fan as the weeks go on. He then has a video of Saquon running the ball, spinning and jumping over someone, and Logan takes the ball, runs, and jumps over someone, and then shows all his highlights in WWE and all his crazy moves. And that in itself gives me so much respect for Logan Paul, because I would love to see Tom Brady get in a WWE ring and perform the moves that Logan Paul is doing, because I guarantee that man would roll his ankle stepping into a WWE ring before the match started. So Tom Brady, go F yourself. Okay. Thanks.
And I wanted to, before we wrap up, I do want to bring up NXT, because I think something happened where we're finally going to get Zarya turning on Sol Ruka. Finally. This is another one.
Doesn't matter at this point, because I don't give a shit. I'm at that point. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, it might have been a little too late. But last night, obviously, we had the tag team match, and the winner is going to be the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship. And you had the controversial tag from Sol on Zarya. Sol picks up the victory. Zarya looks absolutely pissed. Now, I mean, if they don't do it, then I'm just done with it. I am so done with that team. I am so done with that angle. I am over it. It has to happen. It has to happen. You need Zarya to turn heel, and you got to have her F over Sol Ruka for that title. If it doesn't happen, I'm done.
I think they might go the opposite route. I don't know. I mean, because we saw Sol Ruka. I don't know if it was, I think it was last week, like jump over Zarya, and Zarya kind of like bumped her because she was annoyed at it. So maybe Zarya does go heel, but also Sol Ruka, like you said, tagged herself in, and that's the heel move. So I'm curious to know who's going to make that turn. It will definitely be interesting. Lambert King on Twitch said we need Io and Rhea at Mania. I think Stussy said that earlier. Someone else said that earlier. It might have been Lambert again. But I just want to hit that point. Unfortunately, it's not going to be this year. I think we're going to see what people are pointing to was the Bellas versus Rhea and Io, which I'll just, yeah. Oh, that's my comment. Great. The Bellas are back together. I know it's Fun Fest, but like I've said, you have two of the best women wrestlers in the world going against, two women who, yes, they, I guess, defined or started, women's tag teams, but they're also from the Divas era, and their skill set doesn't match up to what we see with the Rhea and Io. So that's, kind of a bummer to me if they do go that route. But I think that could be a next year thing. I think a women's tag TLC match, I think that would be great, Stussy. I think they need some kind of stipulation to, not just make it a generic wrestling match, because Io and Rhea would just out wrestle the hell out of the Bellas, and it's obvious. So I think that would make sense if they have a stipulation like a TLC match, especially if you add another team or another two teams in there to be in that match. But yeah, I think we get a Io Rhea maybe next year WrestleMania. Maybe one of them, maybe Rhea goes back to being heel and she can finally get her win over Io Sky. So I think that could definitely be an option. Stussy says it'll be 25 years since X7. Yep, completely agree. And Lamper King on Twitch, honestly, the perfect fit for Jade is Charlotte. They have teased it. Yeah, I mean, definitely makes sense.
I just want to quickly, I think they're going to end up doing something with Alexa and Charlotte. It's just been, that's also been teased, right? You had the Rumble 1 and 2. I feel like just that friendship is going to come to a halt, and which better place to blow that up than at WrestleMania.
Yeah, completely agree.
But with that said, thank you all for joining us. Ty, actually, before before I do the whole close, Ty and myself have been discussing possibly doing a Friday night SmackDown watch along. If we can line up a SmackDown where both of us can be free for 3 hours, maybe we'll do half the show. I don't know if our wives will be that cool, but they are very, very cool. So if you guys want to see that, let us know in the comments. I know I've been talking, I got to talk to Cassidy about it, but I know they have their post shows for SmackDown and Raw, but they don't have a live watch along. So we are planning on possibly doing a live watch along. Maybe we'll do an NXT, a SmackDown. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but it's definitely in the cards. So hopefully we can get that together. But yeah, last one, we have Lamper King. Ideally, we all want Randy versus Cody and Jacob versus Drew. Sign me up. And then are the Iconics not WWE bound? They might be AEW bound. But yeah, but we'll see. I don't know anything, but I think they might be AEW bound. But with that said, let's ring that bell, because this podcast is over. Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you look in the top left corner, you have a QR code that if you scan it, it brings you to prowrestlingtees.com. It'll bring you to our official merch website where you have the 10 count shirt and the quick count shirt. If you purchase some merch, you support the show, and we would appreciate that very much. Obviously, go give Bodyslam a follow on all socials at Bodyslam at Bodyslam.net. Subscribe to the Bodyslam Patreon for exclusive breaking news, interviews, podcasts, and more for the price of a cup of coffee, which is crazy because coffee is now $5. But for the price of a cup of coffee, you will get all that. And Corey and the guys are working hard, man. I say it every single week. They're them and Sean, best in the business. But with that said, you can give us a follow at the 10 count pod, right down bottom left on all socials. We have hit over, I think we're still at 100, but we are at 100 subscribers on YouTube. So hit that follow button, subscribe, get the notifications that we're live. We are live every Wednesday at 7 p.m., give or take. And then we try to do our quick counts on Sundays for a half hour. We wrap up the week. And then obviously underneath Ty's name, you have Ty's at TLP_maximum on X. I am at JStar02 on X. And once again, thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you guys all on Sunday. Until then, we are out. Let me just change this because someone changed it on me. And we are